Well, I got that shower done last night. I came back up after Judy went to bed and sealed around the base of it and sealed the places where it needed to be sealed with the caulking. And then I went ahead and put the head together and mounted it up there, the shower head and the valve. Still got to do a little bit with the valve. The screws are too long for that cover over the valve. That's made to have thick tile and stuff like that over it so it can compress down on it, but it doesn't have that much in it. So the screws going through there are really long and they run into that blocking behind there that the valve is mounted to. But basically, this thing is all together and it works pretty good. I'm happy with that. So that much is done, and I'd already run the PEX pipe for plumbing up the ceiling and out over here towards the wall. So the next thing to do is to run the plumbing for it, and I'm going to run, put my water heater and stuff right up here, and then all this stuff will be hooked on to the water heater and the fresh water line right there. So now I got to run the fresh water line over to here. I got to looking through all my stuff, and I didn't have a piece of 1-inch pipe. That's what this is 1-inch pipe that I've got plumbed for my supply lines here, coming out of the pump. So anyway, I've got a valve right back here behind the washing machine, and that is a PVC valve with the glue type socket. So now I've got to run my pipe over to there and plug it into that valve. So I had to move, or I didn't have to, but I did move the refrigerator out of there, the freezer out of there, so that I could run this pipe there and hook it up where it goes. And I may have to move some other stuff here. Washer and dryer, of course, is just supposed to be temporary in here, and I've got my dryer outlet right here, and that's going to be right where that pipe goes. So I'm going to have to do something with that. I like keeping my pipe up at an angle so that when we go to drain the pipe, the water runs downhill and runs out the drain down at the bottom down there. I've got a valve down at the bottom for draining the whole system if we need to. So if we're leaving drain length of time in the winter, don't have heat in here and we're afraid that it's going to get froze up. So I could just go ahead and do that and run that above that. But I don't like having my water line above an electric outlet here, so I'm gonna have to turn this box off and I'll move the electrical outlet up higher and get it up above where my water line's gonna run. And I want to get some clamps and clamp this down to the wall. I have to get some 1-bys or something to stick back here to give me a little offset off the wall so it's not right on the wall. And I got some clamps. I went to town to buy the parts and stuff, and of course they never have exactly what you want here in this little small town hardware store. So anyway, I got clamps for steel conduit instead of plastic pipe. So I need to turn the electricity off to the dryer and move that receptacle up. Oh, now, let's see, how am I going to get to my circuit breaker box? Oh, Phillips head screwdriver. Dinner's ready, so I guess I'm going to stop, go to dinner, and then when I come get done, I'll go ahead and get the glue out and glue that pipe together there to that valve. Well, I got a little bite to eat. Homemade sauerkraut and sausages again. Pretty darn good. Relaxed a little bit there, and then my son come over and he's trying to change his tires out on his car, so something a little more winter. Tires on his car kind of worn pretty bad, but they're great big wide tires too, and that's not really good on the snow and the ice. It's been clear the last few days, but it's been icy because we get a lot of frost on the ground and stuff. It's supposed to start snowing tonight, so we're supposed to get snow the next few days. Figured he better change his tires into something not quite so slickery. Well, anyway, it helped him out a little bit there, and then I come out. My granddaughter helped me a little bit out here working on this again. Well, I got that pipe, the 1-inch PVC pipe. I got it installed here And I've got an end on this end that's reduced down to a 3/4 inch male pipe thread. And then I cut blocking and put up against the wall. And then there's those clamps that I used. The only thing I could get were those metal clamps for steel conduit. It's the only thing they had in town. Anyway, I got those done. Moved that dryer outlet up. I've got outlets underneath this now. I don't really like that. I know that's not up to code, but that's the way it's going to be for a while until we get something more permanent. I've got this line run at a slight angle uphill, but it would have been a lot more angle to get it up clear of these electrical boxes and stuff to where I wanted it. But it was running into this drain pipe here. This is a drain I've got set up for the washing machine. So I just took the heat gun and made a little joggle in there. I'll get around the other side. We can see a little bit better, but so there's not putting pressure on that pipe on the other side. And go around the other side there and take a quick look at it. So this is my water supply here. I've got a 2-inch line coming in through the wall down there behind my air compressor. And then it comes up and into a 1.5-inch line going into the water pump. And then, of course, it got the pressure line here that goes into the pressure tank for the water pump. And then the outlet is back here. This is the supply line here. Got it coming out. I've got a valve on here so I can shut it off completely. And then we've got a T. And then we've got a line stubbed out, run down into ABS plastic pipe. And that runs down underground, and that's outside. That had run down to the bathhouse and stuff, and now we've got a hydrant outside. And then I've got another spigot off of that with a hose on it for just water up here. Got another shut-off valve and another T running down, and this is the supply line for the washing machine, and then another shut-off valve. And then there's the joggle that I made with the heat gun right there, so that it would come straight out and not put pressure on these pipes here, and come straight out and then go up and clear that drain for the washing machine. So now I can put the washer and dryer back in. I've got a vent in there that's, I've got 3 vents that I put in when I poured this wall, this basement wall, 3-4-inch pipes that go through there. And one of them, of course, back there has the inlet for the water where it comes out of the water tank. And then this one is what we're using right now for the vent for the dryer. And I've got another one all the way over there on the other side that's just plugged off for right now. And we got the drain pipe coming down for the washing machine. And that goes down over to this corner where it tees into the main drain for the septic tank, for the septic lines. I'll probably splice into this line right here, this drain here. We've got a utility sink that we've had for years that now I think I can probably get put in right here when we put the toilet in over here. And I can put the utility sink in here and just splice into that line and have a drain for it right there. Oh, so that's it for now. I have to get that washer and dryer slid back into place and put that freezer back into place, and then we'll start plumbing in for the hot water heaters and fresh water for the shower and stuff, and for the toilet. But it's 7:30 now, so it's about time for me to go down and sit with the wife for a little while and maybe watch a movie or something before she goes to bed. Well, there's no doubt about it now. Winter is here. Supposed to get maybe 4 to 6 inches of snow today. Today's Turkey Day, November 28th, Thanksgiving Day. Started snowing night before last a little bit, and yesterday it warmed up and was mixed rain and snow. Pretty sloppy around here. Only had about an inch or two, about maybe 2 inches of snow, I guess. I got the Bobcat out and plowed the snow a little bit because the ground's froze hard and it was wet and slushy, and I knew that would freeze up and make a mess. Scraped off as much as I could. Still icy because the water and the wet snow is freezing to the ground. And we got a little 2 inches of snow or so overnight so far today. And it cooled back off again. It's freezing again now, but it's warmer than it was. It was down in the low 20s and even 16 degrees one night. So our heaters were running 24/7. Basement would just barely get 55 degrees or so in there. The hangar, I couldn't hardly get above 40 degrees with everything going in there. So I didn't spend much time in the hangar. Anyway, it's warmed up now, so the heaters aren't running 24/7. Meantime, we got something to be thankful for. Got the shower going. And I got hot water. Okay, that'll be pretty nice. So this is the setup I've got here. This is a little 8-gallon hot water tank, electric operated, runs off of 120. And then this is the propane hot water tank over here. This is what I had set up outside for the summertime to use for a shower there. I've got my water, cold water running from here up through this on-demand hot water heater. And then it'll run out and run into the 8-gallon hot water heater. 8 gallons is probably enough to take a shower on. When I was a kid growing up, I lived in a trailer house, and there was 5 of us kids, and of course mom and dad, and we only had a little 5-gallon hot water tank in there. So that was enough if you took a quick shower to get a good hot shower. And when we were young, we'd all take baths, and mom would run the bath for us, and we'd have to take turns taking a bath, and we'd all use the same water in the bathtub. When we got older, we'd take a shower. Only one of us could take a shower at a time. I think you say if it was quick, 2 of us could take a shower, but one of us was going to get a little cold before it was over with. But anyway, this 8-gallon hot water tank, like I said, it should give enough hot water for one shower, a quick shower. But with the on-demand hot water heater, as the water goes through the on-demand hot water heater, will come on and then put hot water into the hot water tank to replace what we use out of it. So we'll have instant hot water when we start up, and then should have almost infinite hot water as we go along. Well, anyway, that's the setup there. Supply water coming out of the pump. I put an inch pipe coming off the fitting on the other side over there that I showed the other day. And then we have a pressure regulator here. Hopefully that will keep the pressure from fluctuating when the pump comes on and off, because that was a problem we had with the outside when we just had it hooked up there like that. When you'd get the water temperature all set and everything would be perfect, and you'd take the shower, start taking the shower, and the pump would come on, and you get a lot more pressure, and the water temperature would go down. And then as it quit, and the water temperature would go up, so we'd always have to be fiddling with the water temperature there. And we didn't have any cold water mixed into the shower, just straight out of the water heater. So it worked fine for that. So anyway, we've got the cold water running here. Cold water, this line splits off and goes up over to the shower for cold water, supply line for the shower. Comes in here and then, of course, goes into the water heater, gets hot, goes up to the other water heater. Then I've got a line going out over here, which will go down and be the supply line for the toilet when I get the toilet hooked up. And then I've got a cold water line coming down, splitting off here, and a hot water line split off from up above that comes down. And I've got a utility sink that I'll put in here. I just ordered a faucet for the utility sink, and it won't be here for a while, so it'll be a while before we get that thing hooked up. But that'll be nice to have a sink in here to wash up with after using the toilet or when I'm working. Won't have to go outside and dip water out of the dog watering bowls. Well, anyway, this is pretty nice. Like I said, we got hot water now. Not a whole lot of pressure, not near as much pressure as I'd like, but better than washing out of the sink, which we've been doing now for the last 3 months. And then this shower head actually comes out here. So we've got a hand shower for washing parts that aren't reached with this shower head up here. I think it'll be pretty nice. Pretty darn nice. I'm happy with that. Can't wait to take the first shower, which won't be too much longer. All right, the shower project's done. Now I've got to get the toilet set up in here, and I'm going to build a platform there to get that toilet up off the floor a little bit. I've got my septic lines right there, and I really don't want to cut that one off flush with the floor where it's at to put my toilet flange in there. I want to build a little platform and get it up off the floor, about 6 inches or so, and then we can put the toilet flange in there and get the toilet hooked up. But But first, I've got to go work on my pickup. It's warmed up enough now where I can work in the hangar a little bit. I've got my truck in there. I need to pull the front wheels off of there and pack the wheel bearings and do a lube job on the front end and a couple other things. I haven't got much done on that. I've been concentrating mostly on this shower. Anyway, that is all done, and I'm happy with that. My wife will be happy with that. We'll be able to take a shower inside where it's warm instead of outside where it's cold. Probably be taking more showers. Maybe actually be clean once in a while.